Hello. Welcome to Turner Classic Movies. I'm your host, Roger Trombone. Right now, you are sitting in front of a screen, able to hear the soothing sound of my TV voice without having to read an obnoxious strew of subtitles.
Fortunately for you, it's always been this way. But what if I told you that not so long ago, sound-incorporated movies, or talkies as they were known, were a thing of fantasy?
For years, audiences raved about the magic of film and how it captivated audiences alike. When viewers heard a man speak on film for the first time, well, nothing was the same. Silent film was a spectacle as big as time. Although no voices could be heard, the acting and beauty on screen, along with a bodacious orchestra, were enough for America. Prominent actors like Charlie Chaplin and Greta Garbo casted spells on Americans' hearts, not with their voices, but with their spellbinding acting. Hollywood had also come to symbolize the new morality of the 1920s, a mixture of extravagance, glamour, hedonism, and fun.
So how did these talkies really come to be? Who was it that made America's dreams come true?
It started with Edison and his phonograph, and then evolved to a glorious change.
Thomas Edison's obsession with sound had produced the phonograph in 1877, and he was even more determined to take the next logical step, extend his invention into movies.
Yes, the Vitaphone, an instrument that synchronizes motion, picture, and sound perfectly. Purpose is to advance the presentation of motion pictures in the theaters. Large or small, located anywhere.
The Vitaphone came to be by these companies, actually. Alright, we've got the RCA, Western Electric, even AT&T pitched it, right? But it wasn't until Warner Brothers really, they embraced it. You know, they got in and they used the Vitaphone and put it in their films. First appearing in the film Don Juan, the Vitaphone was a clumsy, loud, and awkward device. Though Don Juan had no dialogue, it was praised for the use of the Vitaphone in the way it synchronized sound and a musical score into the film.
After reconstructions and advancements of the device, it eventually became a more feasible tool, and synchronized speech was soon incorporated. But still, even after the invention, sound and film proved to be complicated.
The original sound machines were very, very noisy and big, and the films tended to be quite static because of the static mics, and they didn't realize that you could use a big old boom to record sound.
Still, the movies proved to be groundbreaking. And that all started with a movie about a man with a dream.
Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing yet.
One of the most profound talking pictures was one that, quite frankly, started it all. The Jazz Singer. Released on October 6, 1927, this film astounded viewers all across the globe, marking the end of the silent film era. The Jazz Singer was a film about a Jewish man who escapes the disapproval of his cantor father to pursue his dream of being a jazz singer. The people of the time were being witness to new technology.
American audiences agreed. Sound changed everything. Viewers heard speech in sync with sound and collectively felt it was more real. Some may show a miracle.
With the impact of sound and the emotion that followed, it was said that strong men cried. Movie competition rose as movie theaters with sound earned the most moviegoers.
The people were thrilled.
It was all quite miraculous, really. I remember thinking, I won't have to read the screens anymore. But hearing people talk, really talk, that was something.
Behind me, as you may recognize, is a typical sight in Los Angeles, that of an abandoned movie theater.
However, this specific theater is still strong and in business today. It is most visited and viewed as an event venue.
Artists like Churches and Dale Earnhardt Jr., who for some reason go by Jr. now, have performed at this exact location.
In fact, on October 6, 1927, The Jazz Singer premiered in New York's Warner Theater, becoming the first feature-length talking picture. But the night before, on October 5th, a sneak preview of the film was held here, at the Tower in Los Angeles, a newly constructed theater on Broadway that had just opened that July.
The Tower was the first movie theater in Los Angeles to be wide for sound, and the sneak preview of The Jazz Singer, held one night before its official premiere in New York, makes the Tower the first movie theater in the world to have publicly shown a feature-length talking picture.
See, silent films were never really silent. They always had a song or two played in the background. Songs that displayed emotion, sadness, gladness, even adventure. Take a look.
Wasn't that marvelous? The wonder about silent films was that, in the silence, they were focused on pure emotion and darkness. It was an art fervent by music. Sound, on the contrary, made movies less open to individual interpretation and less flexible. See for yourself at Lionel Barrymore's talkie, His Glorious Night.
Anna, please, why would you believe me? It was a mistake.
Believe you? I don't believe anything about you. I never so ashamed of my life. Don't even think I was that kind of a girl. Just you wait till Albert.
Yes, this invention started the glory of film as we know it today. Although many associate the incorporation of sound in film to a distinct, sharp, and abrupt transition from old Hollywood to new Hollywood, that tale is only but a myth. The transition was a gradual, and though surprising to the ears, not shocking in concept. The invention of recorded and synchronized sound was pushed to be released to the public, but without much luck, due to the lack of the authoritarian acceptance. Many witnessed the push and saw it happen before their eyes. The change was inevitable.
The motion picture industry did not turn topsy-turvy because of the talkies. No studios closed on account of the coming of sound. Most theaters increased their profits.
Many theaters did go out of business during the time of the changeover, but whether these closures can be ascribed solely to the talkies is doubtful. There were abundant outside economic factors. Radio listening and automobile driving are two obvious ones. For those theaters that made the switch, 1929 and 1930 were record-setting years for film attendance. The Depression caused studios to scale back and theaters to close, but by 1931, sound production had been standardized and projection practice was again routine.
Fascinating.
As incredible as the talkies were, the sun did not shine for everybody. While the talkies remained a huge success, silent movie stars were in peril.
The triumph of talking pictures left silent films and stars nearly bankrupt and forgotten. The art of silent film was slowly being destroyed. Although no true damage was done to large corporations, it was the individuals that were really affected.
Glamorous actors and actresses who no longer fit the job description for sound were out of luck and onto the streets.
To think, one day they were adored and praised for their charm and grace, and the next they were dismissed and unappreciated. It's quite a thought to ponder.
Sound divides the movies with the assuredness of biblical duality.
The emphasis is often on the effects of sound on individual actors. The great lover whose career was wrecked by a squeaky voice. The transition was also inevitable. Sound was something that cinema lacked, and sooner or later, it would have to be added. Unfortunately, in the process, the art of the silent film was destroyed. So goes the legend. Here before me are the stars, legends, and idols that once dominated the big screen like no one ever could and no one ever will.
The new and dazzling entertainment that blazed over audiences' eyes was just the beginning. Due to the originality of all the allure, these actors gave their performances everything they had, for they were the first of their time. They were the framework for all those who followed after them.
Captivating, isn't it? The way sound completely revolutionized film. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Turner Classic Movies.
So remember, the next time you're in the theater catching the latest mediocre Adam Sandler film, you're being compelled by the newest Star War. Just know that if it hadn't been for the absolute ambition and heart of some of the world's greatest movie fanatics, well, you would be reading Chewbacca's wails on a screen. Thank you, viewers.
Till next time.
This program is brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you.